Hello, this is Tariq Habib. Today I will discuss about MVC in ASP.NET. We will make a login window that takes user and password as input, and it connect to the database, and then it retrieve the value stored in database, and then it tell whether the user and password is valid or not. And we do not discuss about the front-end design like CSS or Bootstrap or HTML in this lecture. Here this is a picture of MVC and this whole process. MVC stands for Model, View and Controller. MVC architecture first discussed in 1979. In the recent time, MVC pattern is widely used in modern web applications. MVC separates an application into three components: model, view and controller. In a big project, developers can work separately if they follow MVC structure, and after finishing the individual work, they can integrate the whole project into one project. First, I will discuss about model. Model represents the shape of the data. In real-time program, a class in C# is used to describe a model. Model objects store data retrieved from the database. And if you want to know about view, we can use HTML, CSS and Razor syntax in view in ASP.NET. View in MVC is a user interface. And if I talk about controller, the controller handles the user request. The controller processes the request and returns the appropriate view as a response. The idea is that you will have a component called the view, which is solely responsible for rendering this user interface, whether that be HTML or whether it actually be user interface widgets on a desktop application. The view talks to a model, and that model contains all of the data that the view needs to display. Views generally don't have much logic inside of them or at all. In web application, the view might not have any code associated with it at all. It might just have HTML and then some expressions of where to take pieces of data from the model and plug them into the correct places inside the HTML template that you have built in the view. The controller that organizes is everything. When an HTTP request arrives for an MVC application, that request gets routed to a controller, and then it's up to the controller to talk to either the database, the file system or the model. So the benefits of MVC is easier to manage complex project by dividing an application into the model, the view and the controller. Better support for test-driven development. Works well for web applications that are supported by large teams of developers and for web designers who need a high degree of control over the application behavior. Now I will show you how to do program in MVC in ASP.NET. This is Microsoft SQL Server. I have a table called SA user. I am opening it. So what we will do, we will connect to SQL Server database from the Visual Studio, from the front end. This is username John and this is user password. If we do not give proper username and password, then the program will show that this is incorrect user or incorrect password. Just go to File, New, Project. be careful when you choose the ASP.NET web application. You should have first selected this web and then select this one, ASP.NET web application, and you give the name here. I just leave it like this, web application 3, and then press OK button. Then a window appear like this. You choose the empty, and then select here MVC, because we want MVC pattern here. So just click then OK. Waiting to be opened. It's taking some time. See, all the references are adding here. Here is model, view, and controller, these three folders, and we will add some files in these three folders. At first we will work with model. We will create a class which will be associated with the table in the SQL Server. So let's see, add class, and I name the class here login.cs. I already read it and I copied it from my file. I will discuss it. This is class login, and this is the associated field, username and user password, and this is primary key field also, and this is the table name in the SQL Server. So we will work this class with this table in the SQL Server. So keep a note that you have to tell the Visual Studio that this class will work with this table. And then we will make a connection string like this. showing you. We'll make a connection string named dbcon. I already did it, so I copied it from there. I must click add and then go to class. Sorry, I must click add, then sorry, new item, and here choose the data and add this one, audio.net entity data model, yeah, and name it dbcon. Yeah, don't forget to click here on the data, yeah, and then choose here and then dbcon add. Choose here empty code first model. We don't want any code to generate automatically, yeah, we are taking empty template. Waiting. Yeah, it's generated. Let's delete this. And see here in the web.config file there is a connection string generated here. See, this connection string is named dbcon. So always keep in mind that the name of the connection string, yeah, it should be the same as the name of the class here, yeah, this should be the same. So what we will do, we will just delete some data here. We will not use local db, yeah, we will not use local db here. And before starting, when we choose the audio.net, before you see audio.net is the acronym for ActiveX Data Object, yeah, and it has some class like connection class, command class, data reader, data adapter, data set, etc. So now we'll use some code here and we'll delete this local db. This local db actually is lightweight version of the SQL Server Express database engine that starts on demand and runs in user mode. Local db runs in a special execution mode of SQL Server Express that enables you to work with database as .mdf files. Typically, local db database files are kept in the app data folder on a web project. Local db is installed by default with Visual Studio. What do we do? Delete this one, data source. Just put a dot here. Dot means the current, the local PC. Yeah? If you want a PC in the network, just write the PC name here. If you put the dot, it means this PC, yeah, or this server. Initial catalog is the database name. Database name is see here, new DB. To true. Just delete this. The provider is SQL client here. keep in mind that the constituency name is dbcon. Just save it. And we will register the class name here. Here our class name is login and the property name is also login. You can put a plural s here, or you can just leave it like this. I leave it like this. Yeah, we register here so that we can use it in the other files. Our primary functions finish here in the model, and now we will create controller. Yeah, so what we do in the model, we define classes and we define the other, if we have other functions or classes to communicate with database, then we define in the model, and then we write the process in the controller, and we take the data from the model and process it in the controller, and then we show it in the view. And this is the main concept in the MVC. So in the controller we will have a new controller, add controller, choose an empty controller, press add, and the name should be login, and press add. Yeah, in the controller we have a function name index, and actually this is for the get keyword, or you can use it when the page just generated. Yeah, the page open, and when we click the button like login, then it sends data to controller, and controller compare the data from the model, and then it show the result in the view. So what we will do, copy the code, I already did it. Yeah. And I will discuss it here. These are the using files we use in the code. You can also call it like header files or something like this in C or C sharp. This is HTTP post method, and this index file, you see here is index function name, and also this is index, this is same name. Yeah, but these are different. When the page is generated first, then it execute this command, and when you press the login button, then this chunk of code will be executed. Yeah, because we wrote here HTTP post. After post, this code will be executed. So these names are same, but actions are different. Yeah, and I declare here a object of dbcon class, and then we use link method here to get the username, yeah, from the database, and to put the data in the admin variable, and then here we compare it, like if admin any, if there is any value, then it comes here, yeah, otherwise it goes here. And here if we compare again, if there is a password with the given value, we already gave it to as a parameter here from the view. Within a couple of minutes you will see the view, and we send a message like valid user and password, and if not, then invalid password. And if you do not have any value here, it comes to here and it tell that invalid user, yeah. And we need to show these things in the view, so we will create a view here. Just right mouse click on the index function and then add view, yeah. And here this is the view name index, and we will just take an empty model, and then just don't click this one, yeah. We don't use any layout page, just click add button, and I will bring some code from here. I already did it, you know, yeah. Login, I'll discuss it shortly. This is actually the very basic structure of view, and the view start like you know, like doc type HTML code here, yeah. These are the HTML code, and this is input tag, this is button tag, and when we click the login button here, then this post method is used, yeah. And this is the controller name login, and this is the function name. Then when you press the login button, then data pass, like this data and this data pass to login controller to index function or action, yeah. Here just come here all data, and we use, you see, user profile inside the link method, yeah. See here the password, user profile, yeah. So and one more thing here, like when you run the program, then which page will execute first will depend here, yeah. Like what you write here, you write here controller login, yeah. Login, and this is index, this alright, yeah. Just save, and now if we run the program, then see what happened. We should give the username John and user password 123, yeah. And run the program here in the Firefox browser. Waiting to be opened the browser. Still waiting. see here to fill username and password, and there is a button login. I give here a username like first FIRST, and password is 123. So what happened, we see. Invalid user, yeah, still, yeah, actually it is invalid user. So I give here John, JOHN, yeah, this is the actually right user, and give wrong password, yeah, 567. see here it tell invalid password, so it can detect whether the user or password is invalid. Now I give user John and password is 123, so it say that this is valid. See, valid user and password. So actually this I wanted to make you understand what is MVC and how it actually works with a very basic and simple program. I did not use any CSS or bootstrap, something like that here. Just I wanted to let you understand the basic concepts of MVC with a login window. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you. See you in the next project. Bye bye.